Do you remember as a kid when you used to like to sit around in the dark and tell each other stories and scare you out of your mind? I remember being a kid and camping a few times and sitting out and telling stories, and it was all fun and games until you realized that the thing could really happen, like the scary story could happen, and those were the scariest stories, the things that, you know, that weren't so fantasy based, but they were like, it could really happen. Well, I want to tell you a story today, and I don't mean to scare you, but I want to tell you about something that could happen. There's this sequence of returns risk. There's this concept, again, called the sequence of returns risk. My 10-year-old would say, fire up your Googler and look it up, sequence of returns risk. What it means is that there have been studies done on what is the effect if the market takes a really big dip, a correction, or even a recession at the very beginning of your retirement, of this distribution phase. Imagine you're climbing a mountain, and that's the accumulation phase, and everybody's all about the climb, and you're going to save and put money aside, and you use things like 401ks and traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs, and sometimes people even have these individual accounts, or maybe you have some investment properties or whatever it is, and you're trying to get the home paid for and all that, and you're in retirement now, and you've had the party at work, and you've gotten the new watch or the cake, and you've given all the hugs, and you've made the promises, we'll see you soon, and we'll do dinners and all this stuff. And then you're out, and you've dialed in a plan, and you're going to peel off a certain percentage off your portfolio, and people argue about what that percentage should be, and you're living fine. Maybe you watch your account every day, and you wake up one day, and there's something happened across the world, and something happened in some country that you had nothing to do with, and it affected A, and it affected B, and it affected C, and now your portfolio took a big hit. And you're like, what in the world is happening to me? So here's what the reality of it is. These studies have been done that show if the market takes a dip or a downturn at the beginning of a person's retirement, it can affect them in huge ways. We have this really interesting perfect storm going on. People are living a really long time right now. Health care is good, it's expensive, and cost of things are going up. We've had some crazy inflation in the last few years. So if you're at the beginning of your retirement phase and you're not working any longer, maybe you can't work any longer, maybe you don't want to work any longer, and your portfolio takes a hit, it can directly affect your income, the thing that you're providing for yourself to live off of. They've done these studies that show a lot of the same factors, that people had $1 million set aside for retirement, and they started, one scenario is one person's on January 1 of a year, the next person is 6 months later that year, and the third scenario is it's 12 months, so the next January 1. Same amount of spending, everything else consistent. The only thing different in these scenarios is the market performance. And it's crazy. These three scenarios, which are within 12 months of each other, have very different outcomes. And it's all about this sequence of returns risk. It's incredible what this does. And here's the challenge. We can't control the market. We can't control what it does. We can't make it do anything different. We can't make it go up or down. So all we can do is prepare and plan. There are tools, there are strategies, there are ways that you can harbor your money, that you can partition part of your resources. And it's really important to have a conversation with someone that does what I do, where you help people plan, you help them think about their futures, you help them think about future incomes, and you get a plan in place. Because if you don't have a plan and that recession hits, or that dip hits, or that correction hits, and your assets are down and you're peeling off of them a certain amount, well, now that set amount is a larger proportion of your assets, and maybe you have some unexpected medical bills come up, and you've got another bill. Maybe the market's down a couple years in a row. You could find yourself in a really scary spot pretty quick. And it doesn't have to be that way. It can be something that you think about, that you plan for, that you prepare for, so that when that day happens, none of us like it when the market goes down. None of us like it when interest rates go up or all that other stuff. But how much better would you feel if you didn't have a lesser income, if you didn't have a less amount of money coming through because you planned ahead? So we'd love to have that conversation with you. Let me know if I can be of help. Thanks.